Welcome to the Football Show on PLZ Soccer, sponsored by Arnold Clark. I'm Peter Martin. It is Monday. Ruffy and Barry Ferguson are with me here in the studio. We're going to look back over the weekend's fixtures, look ahead to what's happening at the weekend in Scottish football, and of course, as ever, we like to look at the headlines. Yeah, lots to talk about in the company of Alan Rough and Barry Ferguson. They've had a good weekend. Both of them have been out partying, as you do when you're in retirement from playing football. Are you up for it today, lads? You look a bit Ruffy. You've obviously been a tennis winner at the championships this weekend, and you've decided to celebrate like a madman.
Yeah, tennis winner at the championships, and obviously birthday yesterday, so there was a lot of celebrating getting done. But no, I'm recouped. I got up bright and early, more than some people got up today.
Absolutely. Barry, you had a wee late one because you decided to toast Ruffy's 67th birthday.
No, I'm just celebrating another win at the weekend. It was a big game for us and a massive 3 points, so I was celebrating getting the 3 points as you do.
Yeah, for the benefit of our younger viewers and some of the older ones and the people in the middle who are not interested, Barry is the manager of Celtic Hearts, so it's a good win for him. Over the weekend, I'll tell you one thing, talk about head-to-heads. I was hoping that all of us would be celebrating quite a few points in the Predictor. We're going to talk about that just shortly once we look back over the weekend results.
Celtic moved 2 points clear at the top of the Premiership with a convincing win over Hamilton Accies. The Hoops' first goal came from a neat corner routine, which saw Callum McGregor cut the ball back to the informed Ryan Christie, who rifled the ball into the top left-hand corner of the goal. In the second half, a Scott Sinclair header was turned in by Accies' Scott Martin to double the champions' advantage. The goal scoring was finished by Lee Griffiths, with his first goal since the start of October. The striker hammered a free kick low to the goalkeeper's side, but the shot was too strong for the man in the net. Aberdeen head into the League Cup final with a dent in their pride after a 3-0 loss to Motherwell. The Steelmen took the lead through Danny Johnson after Niall McGinn's calamitous back pass from Aberdeen's own corner put Johnson one-on-one with Shay Logan, who did not disappoint. He scored his second of the game and fourth league goal of the season after Curtis Main flicked on an outswinging corner. Another defensive mishap from the Dons led to Motherwell's third, with the ball landing at David Turnbull's feet, who tucked it away to ensure all 3 points stayed with his team. Rangers moved up to second in the Premiership after a 3-0 win over Livingston. Daniel Candeias scored for his third game in a row as he headed in unmarked from an in-swinging Middleton corner. Livingston threatened in spells, but the introduction of Alfredo Morelos saw him bag his 16th goal of the season and made sure the Gers won the match. Morelos turned creative for the third as he smashed the ball across to Scott Arfield, who tucked it away at the near post. Perhaps the most entertaining game of the weekend was Dundee's visit to Easter Road. It was 1-0 to the hosts in the first minute after Jenseric Kunsunga looping header into his own net. Ryan Porteous increased Hibs' lead after 30 minutes with a thunderous header as well from a Stevie Mallon free kick. Kenny Miller halved the deficit with a first-time sliding finish from a Nathan Ralph cross, and the comeback was complete 2 minutes after half-time as Paul McGowan showed composure and close control in the box to curl the ball away from Adam Bogdan. The goal would be enough to ensure a huge point for Jim McIntyre's men. Hearts' gruelling November continued as they succumbed to a 2-0 defeat to St Mirren. The Buddies showed their intent early on as they struck the bar, and the goal to put them in front was one to savour. Adam Hamill scored a speculative volley from over 40 yards that caught out Bobby's Lamel and sent the Paisley crowd wild. Hamill made it 2 when he tucked a bouncing ball into the far corner, and it ended 2-0 to St Mirren. St Johnstone produced a stalemate at McDermott Park, but there were plenty of chances for the game to be won. Greg Stewart saw a good effort saved by Xander Clark just after half-time. St Johnstone then replied as Tanz's long-range effort went just wide, and the Saints nearly nicked it at the end as Matthew Kennedy struck the post. It ended St Johnstone 0, Kilmarnock 0.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened over the weekend. And as far as our predictor is concerned, Ruffy, it looks as if I'm just going from strength to strength this year. You haven't been as buoyant.
Yeah.
Look at that, Ruffy, 121. And Ferguson holding on to my coattail. But what about yourself?
Yeah, well, I'm quite happy. I cut Barry to 3 points at the weekend, and if I can do that every week for now at the end of the season, I'll then set my target on you. But you're 2 good weeks. You had 2 good weeks with a lot of points, and that just shows you need correct scores.
Yeah, you absolutely do. And one of the correct scores is the first game we'll talk about. Celtic winning it by 3-0. Griffiths returns, gets a wee free kick in there. I thought it could have been more. They had a stonewall penalty that they should have had from Matt Kilgallen. I think he only managed to get one hand on it. He could have got 2 when he dived to block it.
Yeah, it was a definite penalty for me. But at this moment in time, Celtic are getting stronger and stronger each week. They're starting to find some real good form. They're using their squad as well. Like Christie again scoring another excellent goal. He's just going from strength to strength. So Celtic are looking very strong, and they're looking pretty unbeatable just now at this moment in time. But it's always a difficult place to go and play in that AstroTurf. But I was never concerned. I always thought Celtic were going to win there and win easily.
Yeah, Scott Brown's back now, Ruffy. That's the main news. Tom Rogic, not too sure if he's going to be available for Rosenborg on Thursday night. But nevertheless, I wonder, does he throw him straight in there? He's mentioned the fact that he's worthy of his place in that side.
Yeah, well, I think he'll assess, what he's like in training. They'll probably had a couple of bounce games, and he will decide, if he is. But he's the kind of game you would want him to play, particularly away from home. I know it's only Rosenborg. You'll be against it for maybe 10, 15 minutes in that game, and he's the kind of player you need to sort of get everybody together. But it's an interest in him. You've said Rogic and Sham are still to come back. It just shows you the power they've got in midfield.
I think Cham will be okay for the game, but nevertheless, we've got 2 or 3 specials coming up this week. So just on that point, it's a huge game. Celtic have to win it.
Yeah, they've beaten them. Not by a lot, they've made it hard for themselves. I don't think this is done and dusted away from home. Obviously, Rosenborg, will have something to prove there, and it was only 1-0 at Parkhead. So unless they score first, they can make it difficult. But they've got to go there and win. There's nothing else. It's got to be a win.
Yeah, okay. Let's go to a game that none of us really predicted. 3-0 for Motherwell. I mean, I didn't see it coming. It was just, at times, calamitous for Aberdeen. Just didn't get it together. Yeah,
I never seen this coming. I think Derek will be concerned. Obviously, he's got the big weekend coming up, big cup final, and to have a performance like that, it just wasn't the Aberdeen that we've been used to. Normally solid at the back, a lot of mistakes happening, so he'll be concerned. And I seen they had a bit of a rammy in the dressing room. Sometimes that's a good thing. People need to speak their mind and get a lot off their chest. So he'll be hoping that can kick on to a good week's training, because as I say, they're coming up against the form team in Celtic, so he will have concerns at the back of his mind, Derek.
Yeah, and over and above that, to be fair to Motherwell, Ruffy, that's 3 wins out of 4. I mean, albeit they lost heavily to Rangers, but you can lose heavily if you get down to 10 men. It was 1-1 when they went down to 10 men against Rangers, but this time around, I think because Aberdeen are looking towards a League Cup final, we might not be paying Motherwell the credit they deserve.
No, I think the manager will be really pleased with that result. It doesn't matter who you are. To come off a heavy defeat like that, you're looking at the players to respond, and that's certainly what they did. Okay, I think Aberdeen made it a wee bit easier for them and some of the goals, but you wouldn't have expected that. So the pressure's now on Aberdeen. You don't want to go into a final on the back of that kind of performance. So no, I think Motherwell have got their act together and they'll start moving up the league. Yeah.
Now, just at that point, where I'm about to talk about Rangers and their win over Livingston. Now, Ruffy, you know yourself, you've watched him. At the start of the season, he was as high as a kite. He was bouncing up and down. Then he had a wee lull, and now Rangers are ready to go to the top of the table if they can win at Tynecastle. He's buoyant after that win over Livy.
In the end, I mean, I obviously just saw the highlights, but in the end, it was a comfortable 3-0. But I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, at 1-0 there was a lot of unrest in the stadium with the Rangers supporters.
Well, Livingston had chances, to be fair.
And until Rangers got the second goal, and again, dominated it after that. But, the winning games is what it's all about, and what a chance. The players will be absolutely buzzing, knowing that a win will take them to the top of the league, and that's all you want to do.
What a great incentive for them to go top of the league, because they've not been there for a long time. So it's always difficult playing against Livingston. Let's be honest, Livingston are a tough team, a hard unit to break down, and it's always going to be difficult if teams come and sit in. But listen, they showed good patience and they got the 3 points in the end. So on to Tynecastle next, and they could be sitting top of the league next week.
Oh, it's we now, you see.
Rangers could.
He's using the we. Well, listen, the other point there, just picking up on it, 1 minute the manager says they're not signing anybody. We all think it's a bit of kidology. He's just playing mind games. Mark Allen says they're looking at players. Suddenly, Ovie Ejaria is saying, Dominic Solanke, why don't you come on loan to Rangers in the January window and help us win the title? Suddenly, yet again, you have a player saying they can win the title.
I know, I'm a big believer in, I would rather players keep it inside the dressing room. Look, it's good having the confidence, but I would rather they just say things like, we'll take one game at a time or whatever. I don't like title talk coming out of the dressing rooms. Look, you're going on about, I still think Rangers are short. I've been honest about that a number of times.
Would Solanke help?
Yeah, but I think they need another forward. You can't keep relying on the guys that are there. It's always good to have good competition. I think they're pretty lightweight up top, and I still think we're short of 1 or 2 midfielders, and I'm sure Steven Gerrard will know that. The manager knows that he needs to go and strengthen. It's whether they have got the money there, but 1 minute you've got the manager saying, no, we're not signing him, then you've got the what is it, Director of Football coming out saying that there will be money there. So hopefully the Rangers do go into the transfer market, but it is January's a hard market, but they do need some players to go and challenge.
Yep. We had a debate last week about obviously away fans. Are Hearts taking up that route at the weekend with Rangers? Are they allowing Rangers fans into the full quota that they usually have? Because I heard them saying, they were going to look after their own supporters as well.
Yeah, but listen, I mean, we've said it on a number of occasions over the last few weeks. Some people are discounting the fact that it was Hibs that started it, but it was. Rangers have jumped on this one as well. And I listened to some pundits talking about, why should you bother about Celtic fans not getting tickets in any great numbers, because at the end of the day, it's just two sets of fans, firing vitriolic sectarian abuse at each other. But I still think the game of football, take them out of the equation, Celtic and Rangers, whatever you like or dislike about the two sets of supporters, I think football needs as many away supporters as possible at games, Barry. I'm not just talking about Rangers or Celtic, I'm talking Hibs, Hearts, whoever's playing. If you can get a large amount there, it creates a great atmosphere for the game.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. That's what makes, certainly the Rangers and Celtic game, that's what makes it special. As I've mentioned, when you walk out in that tunnel and you've got your rival supporters screaming and shouting for their team, and you've got 3/4 of the stadium at Ibrox. For me, it makes it the fans made it, and I'm not buying into the comments I've heard. I heard some of the comments at the weekend. I don't agree with them. I think it should be what it was before. I just wish that we could sit round the table and sort this mess out.
Yeah, and at Tynecastle, of all places, Ruffy, I think, one stand full of the opposition supporters as well. It's just in 3 stands full of Hearts fans is fantastic.
Yeah, but it just makes it a fantastic, spectacular occasion with the colours of both sets of fans, and I think that's what you go to games for. You go for the rivalry, and you go for, if you're winning, you're celebrating. If you lose, obviously, you've got to deal with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Hibs 2-0 up against Dundee, Ruffy, and then threw it away. I mean, they looked in command, an own goal, Porteous nicking in there, looked as if they were coasting, and then suddenly they allowed Dundee to come back into it. Although I have to say, Kenny Miller's goal was what you call classic Kenny Miller, a good poacher's goal. Yeah,
half a yard ahead of the half a yard of thinking ahead of the defence. He had the sharpness to get in there. But Lenny obviously has saw that last year. I think that's one of the couple of times he blew a gasket when his team were not putting teams away and then letting them come back into the game. So that'll be something he'll have to sort out.
Yeah, I was surprised that when they went 2 goals up, I'd never think they would have lost that. But do you know what? Fair play to Dundee. Showing great character. They're struggling at this moment in time. And to go to Easter Road and be 2 goals down, to come back and get a point, that must give them confidence as well.
Yeah, I think the only downer of that is, as coming in at Easter Road and getting a point, and then hearing that St Mirren,
I know.
you know you're up there, and then you're further behind.
Well, I think 3 or 4 weeks ago that would have been an easy win for Hibs. So again, that's what Jim McIntyre will be talking to the boys about. Listen, that's the start of it now. We've went to a difficult place and we've got a point. They now need to build on that.
Yeah, and you mentioned St Mirren's win over Hearts. I mean, I didn't see it coming. I mean, I was hosting the Hearts Hall of Fame dinner, and obviously, when you go to any event of that stature, the Hearts management team coming in and everybody there would be hoping that they're celebrating another, a win to end that 4-game losing streak. But suddenly, from just over 4, 5, 6 weeks ago, Hearts top of the league, everybody talking, and myself included, and then the rails, they just come off the rails with that St Mirren win. Although I have to say, Ruffy, what a goal from St Mirren.
Fantastic goal. It just bounced up for him nicely, and didn't even have to break stride. He saw the goalkeeper off his line a wee bit and hit it tremendously well. And it just shows you, it doesn't matter what team you are, if you take 4 of your best players out of a side, you're going to struggle. And that's what's happening with Hearts. 2 strikers missing, 2 defenders missing, and they just don't look the same team.
Yeah, that was another surprise result, similar to Motherwell, Aberdeen one. I never seen this coming, but again, it's a great win for St Mirren. He'll be hoping that's the start of them now. Try to get away for Dundee. Hamilton's within their grasp now as well. So a massive 3 points, but that's Hearts looking through a bad period at this moment in time. He'll be desperate to get to January, but I do still think they've got enough to finish third in the league.
Yep, okay, it's an interesting one, but for Oran Kearney, something to build on, Ruffy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously things haven't been going particularly well. I'm sure the fans would be a wee bit unrest in there. You're looking for a manager coming in and a wee bit of bounce back. He's got it, that will give the dressing room a bit of confidence. There's nothing better than a Monday morning coming in after a win, and that's what he'll build on. Yeah,
a couple of guys, former footballers, I was chatting to them yesterday, Ruffy, they said they had the misfortune of being up at St Johnstone, Kilmarnock. Not a great spectacle for them, not a great game, but in the end, all of us predicted it was going to be a draw.
Yeah. Again, as far as St Johnstone's concerned, another shutout. Absolutely incredible. What a run they're on just now. And the goalkeeper having another fantastic save. So maybe he'll just edge his way into Alex's thoughts for the next game. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so we all know that the way the whole weekend's going, Barry, it's Sunday, early afternoon. Rangers could be top of the table if they can defeat Hearts, because Celtic are going to be involved in the League Cup. Look at that table there. I mean, that's good viewing if you're a Rangers fan, suddenly closing in on Celtic. The goal difference, you can't split them, Barry.
Yeah, but listen, that's what I'll be saying all week in training. Yeah. We've got a great opportunity. I know, obviously, there'll be a game more than Celtic, but you've got an opportunity to go top of the league for the first time in a long, long time. So they've got to go and grasp that opportunity. Difficult place to go, but you know what? It comes down to hard work, and they've got to go there. A difficult place. Great atmosphere. Tynecastle, we were speaking about it earlier. One of the best stadiums I've played in atmosphere-wise. So this is a game you want to be involved in. They just need to get through there. Don't care how they play. Just get the 3 points, and that'll look good, hopefully, when the game finishes. Yeah, Monday morning we won't. I mean, to be honest with you, Ruffy, if it all pans out the way he's hoping, Monday he'll be unbearable on this show. To be honest with you, Ruffy. Maybe instead of having a Kelty jumper on, he'll have a Rangers one. I wouldn't rule it out, Ruffy. I wouldn't rule it out. Go out and buy a new one this week. Yeah. As if you need to. The other thing I was going to say to you, Ruffy, I've got to mention it because it was such a great occasion. At the Hearts Hall of Fame dinner, I was sitting next to a man, and this is very rare, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Gordon Marshall, the dad of Gordon, who's the coach at Aberdeen, but I was sitting next to the dad, who was an absolute joy to talk to. And the reason why I mention it, because we love football nostalgia. He'd won everything. You know, he got he had 2 league winners' medals with Hearts. He'd won the League Cup as well 4 times, I think, with Hearts. And over and above that, he'd played with Con, Bald, Wardhaw, and the great Dave Mackay as well. I mean, the team that he played in was sensational. I mean, his patter was great as well, but the players that he played with was unbelievable. Yeah, that Hearts team in that era were fantastic. You know, they were up top of the league, challenging most of
most of the years, and European competitions as well. And you're right, you just touched on some of their players there, but some good defenders there as well.
Yeah, and he was up there, obviously. I think Alan Anderson. Do you remember Alan Anderson?
Alan Anderson, yeah.
He was
centre
voted
half.
in. Yep, centre half. He was voted in there. A guy called Jock White, and then someone. The nickname for him was Zico for Hearts, and he was the right back, Walter Kidd.
Walter,
Do you remember Walter?
Yeah. I think Walter played in that game, didn't he? Up at Dundee, remember the championship decider?
Yeah, the chance to win it. He was part of a. I mean, he was part of a side at Hearts that had Sandy Jardine and Alex McDonald were the management team. Sandy was still playing at the time, but he was a good stalwart for them. I think over 400 appearances.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of players there that were just in the fringe of Scotland caps, but as a club, as a team, as a club, they were really successful.
And I was speaking to your old mate at the weekend, Baz. Neil McCann was there as part of the 1998 Hearts Scottish Cup winning side, all of them inducted in. The hairs were a little greyer on some of them, apart from Jose Katongo, who was wearing, I think, a purple jacket and the maddest glasses you've ever seen.
That's not a surprise.
They had a the whole team inducted in, and this was, of course, the team that defeated Rangers, a good Rangers team in the Scottish Cup final in 1998.
Yeah, I mean, as you says, the Hearts team, I know the Rangers team were good. I was just coming through at that stage trying to break into that Rangers team. I'd played a few games, but I was at that game that day. That Hearts team were a proper good team. If you look through some of the players they had in there, very good players. And Neil McCann, ex-teammate, who I thought was great when he came to Rangers.
Yeah.
When we bought him for Hearts, he came in and he had 2 or 3 years where he was a match winner at times for us. Very underrated, Neil McCann. When he came, I knew he was decent, but to actually train with him and see him every day, he was a proper old school winger.
Yep, absolutely. A couple of things to finish off. In the papers, obviously today, the police have been looking and investigating previous Old Firm games, and the findings are that it's a powder keg if you get the whole entire Celtic team or Rangers team celebrating in front of the opposition fans. It's something that they're going to obviously have a word with the players about responsibility. The fans have a responsibility to behave themselves as well.
Yeah, it seems to be a thing just now. I've noticed it in the Rangers-Celtic games that the players are staying out in the park and, taking a long time to get off. And I think it's more of a problem when it's away from home, when obviously the majority of the fans are the home fans. So, yeah, they have to be... It's a difficult one because if you win away from home, you want to celebrate with your small... group of fans that are there. So yeah, it just is, as long as they celebrate with their own fans, I don't have a problem with it.
The other problem with this is the South American show, the Pedro and Rafinho show. Can you imagine what they're all talking about? Boca Juniors River Plate, game cancelled again, bus smashed with bricks, tear gas thrown in, players with injuries to their eyes. I mean, can you imagine what they're doing in their football phone-ins?
I know, when I read that and seen it, that's ridiculous when it comes to things like that.
Yeah.
Breaking buses and throwing tear gas in, and I think a few of the players had to get took to hospital.
Yeah.
Some serious injuries. You don't like seeing that in football. Look, I mean, I know they're two massive clubs, big rivals, but when it comes to that, that's no good.
Yeah, you think we're the only crazy country for football. South America is certainly up there, Ruffy, as you well know. Just one little footnote. Mick McCarthy's the new Republic of Ireland manager for 2 years. Then Stephen Kenny comes in. That's a strange one, isn't it, announcing the man after him?
Yeah, I don't understand the second bit of that. I do understand the first bit, having played with Mick at Celtic when I was there. He's a strong character. Irish fans got right behind him when they got to the World Cup and everything. And I think he's the kind of guy you would want to work for unless you're Roy Keane.
Yeah.
What happens there if Steve Kenny, the job he's in just now, and he has basically a nightmare?
Well, the good news is, Barry, with 5 seconds of the show left, that's not our problem.
Can you not answer then?
Well, if he has a mayor, suddenly they have a rethink.
Change your mind, you're not getting it.
You change your mind, you're out.
Strange.
Can you stay on for another 2 years? I agree with you, it is strange.
Strange one.
Listen, we try and give you the opinion, we try and have a wee bit of banter as well, and we try and have winners on the show, and that's what we've got. Kelty Hearts winning, he's top of the table, he's happy. His old team might be top of the table next week. Ruffy's a tennis champion. What more can you ask for apart from myself? Well, I got a win with Dukla yesterday, so we're all winners on the show. If you want to watch us more, YouTube channel, you can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Don't forget to do that if you can. And Monday to Friday, it's on live at 6 o'clock. So from Barry and Ruffy, thank you very much for watching. Don't forget, Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday of this week, we've got some football specials for you. I wouldn't miss tomorrow night's programme. Rhonda Jones is a footballer with 117 international caps for Scotland. She's got a great story to tell about her playing career and, of course, how she set up a group to help people with mental health problems after the sad passing of her sister Gemma. That's tomorrow night's special. We'll have Darren Young in an Aberdeen special, and we'll also have Jackie McNamara with a Celtic special on Thursday. Hopefully you can watch them too. Don't forget to subscribe to YouTube and download our app, PLZ Soccer. Welcome to PLZ Soccer. Why not join the football family and download the PLZ app? You'll get all the latest Scottish football news and up-to-date news on English and world football. There's also a feature here where you can record yourself talking about your favourite team. If we use the video, you could feature on our football show. For all the latest news in Scottish football, download the PLZ Soccer app in the App Store and in Google Play. Come and join the football family on PLZ Soccer.